Hello, I'm Robert Hillier and I've been a psychologist for about 40 years now. I was registered up until 2011. I've been registered for 25 years, and since then I've been doing lots of things and really bringing spirituality a lot into psychology. And it's from this spirituality that comes this very unique logic that applies to feelings. It doesn't apply to intellect. Intellect is a different logic. This is a logic that applies to feelings. And if you can understand this logic and you can get control of your feelings, you've got control of your life like you'd never had before. This is a logic that applies to all sorts of feelings and all relationships. And I'm going to be talking about intimate relationships because this is where it shows up most prominently and where it's easiest to see. Sure, it's to do with the same logic will work for relationships you have with your family, with your mother, your father, your brother, your sisters, with your friends and family, with school, with your job, with your work colleagues, even with your house and with all the toys you've got. Whenever you get something new, it always starts off in this stage one, which is primal gazing. And in primal gazing, we look at it and we see the good and we don't see the bad or the ugly. And it's a spiritual thing, especially in an intimate relationship is spiritual. By the way, relationships are very spiritual. And if you go back in any intimate relationship that you've had, think about when it started. It made no sense most of the times. There could be 100 people in the room and suddenly there's just one person for you. And that one person for you feels the same towards you as well. There's only one person for them. This is the spirituality of relationships. And it starts with this right here at primal gazing. And it's the flush of the first connection. And it leads into the stage two, which is commitment. If we want to keep the relationship going, we make a commitment. And the commitment can be, well, let's go out, let's be monogamous. Let's go out again. Let's spend every night with each other. Let's do lots of things. In the really big cycle, the primary gazing can be all the courting and the commitment can be the marriage or the oath of allegiance or whatever you like to call it. So you've now chosen each other, you've committed, which takes us to the next stage, celebration. It's working. We are now doing things we could never do alone before. We are together producing things that we couldn't produce before. If you're thinking in a really big cycle, you chose each other in primal gazing, you committed to each other when you got married, and now you're about to have children. And it doesn't have to be that. It might be, you've chosen a business and it's now working. The business is working, or you're both committed to saving up for a block of land, or you can buy the land, or you can buy the house, or you can buy something, you do something. It's working, it's feeling pretty good. And the next stage, of course, all good things have to come to an end, which is the next stage, stage 4, betrayal. And in betrayal, it's like as if it happens suddenly, by the way. Often it'll happen suddenly. And you feel betrayed because what you thought was perfect and wonderful suddenly isn't. And what we start to realise is that what we're looking at up until now has been all the good stuff that's going on and ignoring the bad. And now suddenly we start to see a new reality because we start to see the balance come in. Yes, there's good and there's bad. The good's still there, but now there's bad still there. All the stuff we've been ignoring, and we feel betrayed. So now we go to the next stage, which is withdrawal. Because we're not sure. Is it worth putting this time in? All of a sudden, what we thought was perfect has problems. Are we going to bother to put the time in to work this through? Is it worthwhile putting that extra effort, or we just walk away now? And let's say we decide it's worth it. We're going to go for this one. So now we go to the next stage, which is false illusion. Or another word is procrastination. Because we create an illusion that everything's okay. We're actually sitting there waiting, hoping that things come good without us having to do any further work. And we create the illusion that things are okay, which they're not. They just might be put to sleep a little bit. They might be under the surface. We might be procrastinating and not going anywhere in case we upset the apple cart. And I've seen people stuck in this one for years and years and years. You can't do that, because if you're not going forward, you are going backwards, and that's where people are going. There's a lot of people in this stage of procrastination are procrastinating down into some sort of depression, actually. But to get out of that, you've got to go forward. And you've got to go forward into this next one, stuckberries. Now, stuckberries are unresolved emotional issues which have stuck and buried when you're a child. Usually they come before they're 7 years old, because that's when all these emotional patterns are set. So it could be from your childhood, it could even be from your infancy, it could be from your birth, it could be from the womb even. Or it could be somehow it's in your cellular memory, it's come from your family of origin, it's come from your parents or mother or father or whatever. Or it could be in some sort of past lives. It could come from anywhere. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. It's there, it's within you, and it's got to be dealt with. And if you can get to the source, which is what this stage is about, getting to the source of that stuckberry, then and only then do you get a permanent solution. So that's the challenge now, is to get to the source, which takes us to the next stage, which is resolution. That's just getting to the source, but there's a problem, which comes back to what Einstein once said. You cannot resolve a difficulty from the same mindset you're in when the difficulty came into your life, when you created the difficulty. You see, this mindset can't do it, but a new mindset can. And so your challenge now is to upgrade the mindset, which is one of the reasons why relationships, and especially intimate relationships, are really good, because these problems that come up here, these are profound in an intimate relationship. The more intimate your relationship, the more profound they are. And this is profound growth and development if you can get through it. But you've got to be willing to go out of what you know, because the answer's not there. Really and truly seriously, if the answer was in with what you knew, what you know about yourself, you wouldn't have a problem, you'd already know it, but it's not. It's within you, and you sort of know it at an unconscious level, and you've got to really go down into what you don't know that you know about yourself. And let's say you get this and you break through, and you get through there and you go into happiness. And the interesting thing is, when you break through, you've got no idea what you're doing. You just have to trust and go along with, have faith in yourself. And when you do that and you get this new mindset, suddenly you're happier because all the opportunities in the world seem to be there for you. These opportunities were always there, by the way. It's just you couldn't see them in that mindset. But this is a new mindset. This sees new opportunities. It's ready for them. It can take them on. All you've got to do is choose what these opportunities are. And as you're choosing, it takes you to the next stage, which is attraction. And as you're going into attraction, realize that people around you can see you've broken through. They understand it at a subconscious level. They understand what you're doing, and they want to get a part of it. They want to be in your essence. They want to try and learn from you what you did. They may want you to break through for them, but of course you can't. But that you can teach them how to do it by showing them the great benefits there are for breaking through. And we all want to be around people who have broken through, because they're so positive and so their emotions are so flowing. It feels really good. And so we've come to the end of the cycle. But of course, we go on with it. We choose an opportunity and we go to the cycle again. We keep going round and round and round. And another way of looking at it is in seasons, because we go into summer, and in this time of summer, it's a time of bonding. And why do we need to bond? We have to bond because we've got some problems to deal with later, so we better be bonded. The more bonded we are, the more likely it is we can successfully deal with our problems. And then we go into autumn, and autumn is a time of exposure. Think of all the leaves falling off the tree. It exposes all the underlying structure of the tree. And what's being exposed here is the underlying structure of your life or your problems you've got to deal with. And of course, following autumn is always winter. And winter is something we do not want to deal with because it's hard, it's painful. Who wants that? Yet, it is where the growth and development really happens, providing you break through. Because when you break through, we are really looking to a spring. And when we go into the spring, we go into a spring of new opportunities, new beginnings, new growth. And it keeps on moving round and round and round. This is a life-changing thing to do if you can break through on these things. It's a life-changing. And breaking down, that's also life-changing too eventually, but it's life-changing the wrong way. I hope this helps you a lot.